Welcome to your daily focus, April the 22nd, 2020. My name is Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly, and thank you. Thank you truly for all of the positive, loving, supportive energy you send my way each and every day. I do send it right back to you. Now we have the 22 energy of the day. We also have a new moon in Taurus at 3 degrees of Taurus. So the sun is there. I believe Uranus is also there. So expect the unexpected. Go with the flow. My goodness, I'm just right off the bat, just with that knowledge alone. So the 22 energy, that is a visionary energy. That is the master builder. That is about advancement. That is about success. That is about being creative, thinking outside the box. Okay? 22 energies. Leonardo da Vinci, Paul McCartney, Will Smith. Thinking outside the box. Tapping into their creativity. Having a visionary sense. So our intuition is very strong when the 22 energy appears. Now, if you do the numerology of the day, it comes to a 30, which is also a very visionary number, a very creative number, one that can bring in. It's not even with the 30 energy, the 3-0 energy. It's more about celebrating where you are at this very moment. Being grateful. Tapping into the things that you do have. The advancements you've made. We are coming out of a full moon energy. So what have you completed? What have you healed from? How did you end that chapter? Now, in numerology, you can break down the 22 at certain times for a 4 energy, because the 22 is realistically a higher and greater vibration of the 4 energy. And the 4 energy, we have April, which is the 4th month. We have the 22, which is 2 plus 2 is a 4. And then we have 2020, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 is a 4. So we have a 4 energy, and the 4 is a lot to do with home and family, yes indeed, but more about your balance, your foundation. So the plan, the strategy, and since January, since we got out of the gate in January, I think we started the year with eclipses, did we not? And it was all about building the strategy, forming the plan, understanding our true potential, understanding how we could bring in a harmony, a balance, a peace of mind into our lives. And coming up with a strategy, coming up with a plan, long term, slow and steady wins the race kind of plan. To walk with a bounce in your step, to have more joy in your life. Peace of mind, balance, happiness, love. So if you were even to add up the numerology that way, the 4 plus 4 plus 4, it would be a 12 energy, which is the hangman energy. But I would think that we have the 30 energy over the hangman energy. But the hangman energy is about being in the now. Both ways, it does come down to a 3, right? 3 plus 0 is 3, and the 1 plus 2 is a 3. And the 3 is about our inner child, our creativity, our curiosity, our communication. So where are you communicating about your happiness, your joy? Where are you letting that inner child out to frolic and play, so to speak? The 3 energy is the Empress, the new beginnings, the fertility, the time of fertility. So giving birth to a new idea, a new way of doing, being, becoming. We have obviously the sun and the moon both in Taurus. Now, Uranus is mixed up in there because Uranus is right, I think, at like 5 or 6 degrees. So just a couple of degrees away from this new moon energy. So expect the unexpected. But I believe Saturn is kind of in a fight with this new moon energy. So this, Saturn will be like, oh, no, you don't. You're not jumping through that hoop. You back it up and think about it again. How are you going to go about it realistically, methodically? Where is the plan? Where's the strategy? Do you have it on paper? So Saturn may be putting up the roadblocks to make us really think realistically about our steps, so that we're not, counting our chickens before the eggs hatch, so to speak. We're not thinking grander than it actually will start off as. It may be grander down the road, but maybe we are just thinking too fast, too quick. Look at this. The Nine of Cups came flying out when I started to shuffle. This is the wish card. Definitely, this is a time to do new moon affirmations. So I have a link to my video. It's 10 minutes of just different affirmations that you can say. So write down 2 or 3 that, vibrate with you. I have a fruit fly. I have to go check my fruit basket to see if there's an apple or something in there that's not cooperative. One rotten apple will ruin the whole bushel, right? The wish card. What are you wishing for? What are you truly hoping for? What does your heart desire? Is it in your spirituality? Is it your routine? Is it your work and play balance? Is it when you're creating, when you're inventing, when you're dancing, when you're singing, when you're gardening? What is your truest wishes? What are your desires? Truly, not somebody else's, your own. So it really is about what we want to step into, how we are going to bring in joy and happiness in our life, how we are going to go forward with success. So we really need to pay attention to what Saturn is saying. We don't want to be too spontaneous, because Saturn will put us in our place of what we want, of what we stand for, of what we are becoming. And it's not that we won't get there. Saturn will just make it a little harder to get there. So things may happen that we don't want to have happen. Now that may be trying to pull our attention in a different way, or make us back up and say, okay, well, what am I failing to see? What is the flaw perhaps in my plan? Oh, Dylan's highlighting that for us. What is the flaw in my plan? Dylan, inside voice. Dylan, do I have to talk to you? Oh, Milo, were you being a good boy? I highly doubt that. Look at this. The Queen of Wands starts us off, and she was just present just a couple of days ago, wasn't she? Now she's in the first spot. She's, we have to be the Queen of Wands. We have to think it through. We have to have the plan. We have to ask questions. We have to play devil's advocate with ourselves, and what might be, the pitfalls within the plan that we're not seeing, or we're failing to see, or we're trying to whitewash over them so that we don't see it and just see the good, because we have to look at both sides of the coin here. We have to really be cemented in our commitment going forward. And the Queen of Wands does that for us. That energy does that for us, so long as we back it up, we sit down, we think things through. Maybe meditation, prayer, talking to God, your angels, your spirit guides, but talk to people who have already done your walk of what you want. You want that 50-year marriage? Then go and talk to somebody who's been married 50 years and say, what does it take? What do I have to sacrifice? What do I have to give? What should I expect? What should I not stand for? How do you do this thing called 50 years of love and commitment? Maybe it's a job that you've always wanted, a career that you've always wanted. Talk to somebody who's already doing it. How did they start? What knowledge did they walk in with? This is the time to do the research. This is the time to do the groundwork. Saturn's going to make us do it, so we might as well just say, okay, let's do it, right? Now, the one thing about the Queen of Wands, though, is once she gets all the information and she makes that decision, she never has to look back on the moment. She's strong in her decision. And there's this energy about her. She gets self-motivated just by knowing that she's doing the right thing. And her energy raises, and all of a sudden, people want to be around her because we're all attracted. We're like a moth to the light bulb, right? A moth to the light. We want to feel that energy, and the closer we get to that energy, the better we're feeling. And then we become successful. Just, so don't worry about the help that you might need, the support you might need. It will be there. Always with the Queen of Wands. The help, the support will be there. The Two of Swords comes out. So this is a decision that needs to be made. This are choices that you need to make. And you're not going to find the answer really on the external. You're going to find it inside. You're going to find it within your heart, within your soul. You already have that answer inside of you. Do you have the courage to step into it? Do you have the passion to step into it? Will you be able to give it what is necessary for it to become successful in your life? The sun. And it is, you know what? Here's this light. I was just talking about this. This light, this energy is not coming from the sky. It's coming from you. Your energy, your light, your vibration, making these decisions, making these choices, making these commitments to yourself or others perhaps, allows you to finally see that path that was hidden from you. You see it for the first time. You understand how close you are to a new beginning, a new start, a new way of being, becoming. We'll do 5 cards because it is a new moon. 6 of Pentacles. So relationships have to have a balance. I was wondering when the balance was going to truly come in here, because the 2s really aren't about balance. This is about evening out the scales. That you need to protect yourself from people that are just going to use maybe your good nature, your kindness, your strengths for their purpose and their purpose alone, their agenda. And they take your focus off of your actual path that you want, your agenda. That what you give, you also receive. Maybe not in the same way. Maybe not from the same person or environment that you're giving to. But it does come back to you. I'm getting something here about the red and the white and how she's leaning towards the white and ignoring the red. So it's almost like you have to ignore a negativity. Like I get anger here, I get revenge here, I get um, hate. Hate is a very strong word too. Um, so maybe you're putting your attention towards people that are negative and you're trying to convince them that you're there for them, or they're energy vampires. They're they're taking away your energy. You ever have that friend? You're going down the street and you're feeling great, and you bump into them, and you talk to them for about 5 or 10 minutes, and by the end of it, you need a nap because they sense your energy and they feed off of you. They take your energy. They don't give back. It ends up just being you giving. So be very careful of just you giving during this time. Make sure it is a two-way street. Make sure there is balance there for you. And I get the white almost as a sense of a purity, a pureness of love, compassion. The perfect card for a new moon. Absolutely. The Fool, the beginning of the tarot deck, the first step in our journey. The Fool is us, and we are embarking upon a new path, one we have never walked before. We don't take much with us, and we go with our intuition more than a sense of logic and reason. And even though we think the Fool has no logic and reason, he's always pictured on top of a mountaintop, and usually it looks like he's going to fall over at any second, but he doesn't. He's got enough sense, but he's going to have a little bit of fun. He's going to enjoy his path forward, and he knows it's a long path. He's going to go through 21 stages before he comes back to reinventing himself again, herself again. The Fool is all about new beginnings, new starts, new pathways, new opportunities. The world is your oyster, so to speak, when the Fool arrives. The Fool also leaves everything behind, so the world you're stepping into is not the one that you stepped out of, like no resemblance to the one you step out of. When you look back in a year, you're going to just go like, wow. And according to this, I mean, if we follow the energy, we use the energy properly, we'll be very successful. But slow and steady wins the race. We have to remember that. It's not a time to resist any kind of change. We've got Uranus there as well, right? So the Fool very much goes with the flow. Let's get our mystical wisdom cards. So remember that the Fool now, he remember the Fool, okay? Because I don't want you to think because the Fool is there that you can just kind of leave everything behind and just step into some new beginning and it's all going to be great. We have to remember the other cards that preceded it. They gave us some valuable information. The Fool is the only one in the entire court, in the entire castle, that can make fun of the king and get away with it. Make fun of the queen, the emperor, the empress. The Fool is the only one. And they put him up in the castle, and he dines well, and he sleeps well, and so that's pretty good, right? You actually get treated really well for insulting the one person that is paying for everything. The Fool is by no means a fool. He was the court jester, perhaps, at once upon a time. So Know that you have to be looking for the opportunity. And you have to use your own personal potential to seize that opportunity and make it yours. Go with the flow. Let things happen. Go with the flow. Very much when Uranus is involved, we want to go with the flow. Okay? Just let things happen. Especially when you have no control over the situation. Go with the flow. See where you pop out. Don't fight the current. Go with the flow. Let's see what our mantra needs to be. And really, this is over, the next several weeks that you want to kind of bring this mantra into existence. And I'll leave this video up on my my main page on, or my page on YouTube. Whether you're not a subscriber or you are a subscriber, it'll be set up so that you can revisit this reading during the next 2 weeks and use this mantra throughout the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks, because many times the new moon energy, we are creating something, we are starting something, and some of the smaller things actually come to completion by the end of the full moon, which we started in the new moon. So it's really a 4-week energy, but the first 2 are the most potent of the energy. So go with the flow. The magic of the universe knows what you desire and wants to deliver the best outcome for you. Let it go. Step aside. Accept help from others. Sometimes people become used to resistance and struggle. Everybody accepts this as part of how life is supposed to be. When you relax, when you go with the flow and let go of a situation, you will see how amazing the results will be. It will be more favorable than you ever anticipated. And the mantra is, I accept help from others. So maybe you need to reach out to somebody. Maybe you need to let somebody in. Maybe you need to allow somebody to leave. Maybe you need to allow somebody to grow a deeper relationship with you in your life. Go with the flow. Let things happen. We'll get our animals here. And then, of course, we will do a Journey of Love card, because they are the deck that chose me for the moons, the full moons, the new moons, the eclipses. It won't be long before we're in eclipse season. I believe they start in June. Look who comes back in again. Clarity, the bats. Remember, we had the Queen of Wands as our very first card here. We have to have a clarity. We have to have an understanding. We have to have an awareness to everything within our strategy. Or most things. We can't whitewash. We can't... We have to stay grounded. We have to remember 4. 4 is all about balance. 4 is all about being grounded and building that balance, that foundation on which to build, on which to grow. I know they sound like they're tearing each other apart, and I know they sound like they are really out of control, but usually if I say their names, they stop right away, which tells me that they're truly listening to me the whole time and just trying to get my attention, because it's a little past bedtime. So, hidden fears, open mind, heart and soul, trust and passion. Now they're coming in to check on me because they know I was talking about them, because I changed my voice, I think, a little bit when I talk about my dogs. So, and they know the voice. Clarity of mind means clarity of passion too. This is why the great and clear mind loves ardently and sees distinctly what it loves. So many are afraid of bats. They often fly in a sporadic fashion, never knowing where they will swoop. Instead of relying on their sight, they use other senses, the main one being their hearing. If you've chosen bat, you are being told that the clarity that you seek has to be sought in a different way. Bat offers you clarity to see around you what may be hidden. Now is the time to look at your life subjectively and see where you can add positive and passionate changes. You might sign up for a class, start a new creative project, finish one perhaps that you started way back when. Is it possible that you are neglecting communication with those who love you? And you don't even realize it. You're not aware of it. Milo and Dylan, Inside Voices. You may have been acting as a hermit and didn't even realize it. Call your friends and plan a fun night out. Release your old fears and anxieties. You can write down your fears one by one on a piece of paper, and after you complete the task, take each paper and say aloud, I release, and insert your fear there. Then either rip up the piece of paper or burn it in the fireproof container, allowing the universe to take care of all that is holding you back. So the bats ask for a clarity. And maybe it is reaching out to somebody that, we did see every day in our lives, and now that we are self-isolating, you haven't made contact with that person, and make contact with that person. Let somebody know that you care about them. That you're thinking about them. And it could be growing a relationship. Strengthening a relationship during this time. Has a lot to do with our balance. It has a lot to do with our peace of mind. It has a lot to do with us laying the foundation to our tomorrow. Our Journey of Love card is the breaking. The breaking. 65, which is an 11, which is a master number. Dreams can come true. Success can be had quite quickly when you follow the energy well. I'm getting there, one page at a time. There we go. We'll read the poem first. It's pretty short, this one. Love. Love is a special closeness that sings from the heart, that warms my days and nights, that feels good, that makes me smile, that makes me glad to be alive. You are breaking apart. You might not understand it at all. There's not much to be understood, but the simplicity doesn't mean it is easy to endure. You may worry that you're going too far, that you may not recover, or ever come back together again. But what can you do? Can you hold back from the divine love that calls you, that lures you to becoming all that you are? To remembering your divine nature? Well, you could try, but for what purpose? Temporary rest before a storm at best. So take the rest if you need it. Then dive into the storm. Let yourself be brokenhearted by the divine so that you can become your truth. Become all that you are meant to be. It's better to have a heart broken so that it grows than to be brokenhearted by thinking that you must protect yourself from love. This oracle brings compassionate guidance that no matter what sadness, what anger, what despair or frustration you may be feeling right now, you are not being pulled apart by dark forces. but by the loving embrace of the divine. If I didn't know about better, I'd think Inga's spirit guides were tapping in here right now. By the loving embrace of the divine, as it strips you of that which would keep you from the divine realization. So let go and break. It's going to be the making of you. Until we meet again, please remember to like, to share, to subscribe, and mostly remember, above all, I do love you.